The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. More details from the Mark Twain Prize the other night. Conan O'Brien told the Kennedy Center, "You're making a terrible, terrible mistake." He talked about Adam Sandler and said a lot of amazing people have flown to D.C. to say nice things about Adam Sandler. But have you asked yourself why so many of Adam's friends were able to speak tonight? I'll tell you why. Because when Adam isn't working, they're not working. Sandler was asked if he thought Chris Rock went too far during his recent comedy special. Sandler said, "Never thought that in my life. I thought it was unbelievably relaxed, funny, thoughtful, crushed it, and was real to himself. And it was exciting to watch us when the Super Bowl is on. I thought about it all weekend. All right, Rock is doing his thing tonight." I agree with Adam Sandler on that. It did feel like a really big event. Rob Schneider also commented about the Chris Rock special, and he said, "He's outrageous. He's incredible. He really does set the bar. He's able to take really complex societal ideas and make them hilarious and bring us on board to some place of sanity, some place of reason. He's so hilariously reasonable. He subverts us to his point of view, and that's his genius. And modern comedy changed after Chris Rock, truthfully, 25 years ago." I think David Spade had the line of the night. He said, "In these woke times we live in, the one person who would not win the Mark Twain Prize was Mark Twain. He had some iffy material." Chris Rock himself was there. He discussed current events and said, "Are you guys really going to arrest Trump? Do you know this is only going to make him more popular? It's like arresting Tupac. He's just going to sell more records. Are you stupid? Trump banged a porn star and paid someone off so his wife couldn't find out. That's romantic. We've all been cheated on. Don't you wish the person that cheated on you paid off somebody so you wouldn't find out? Trump was so bad as a president, he was so bad that Joe Biden had to burst off a monument. Biden was dead for 16 years. Chris Rock also gave a shout out to Paul Pelosi, who was in the audience, and said, "Paul Pelosi got it. He knows how I felt." Staying political. From the Hollywood Reporter, Jason Sudeikis and members of the Ted Lasso cast dropped in on the White House on Monday. They discussed mental health awareness. Sudeikis/Lasso took one question. It was from the actor who plays journalist Trent Crimm on the series. Crimm asked Sudeikis/Lasso how he felt about Kansas City being considered as a host city for the 2026 World Cup. Again, I'll remind you, this was real life at the White House, and for some reason we're doing this bit. Sudeikis/Lasso said, "I mean, I love this town. What I'm generally worried about is once we get all these folks from all over the world to come to Kansas City to see your food, eat our food, meet our people, you're going to have a lot of folks that want to move away. That's what I'm worried about." Bizarre. From Radar Online, Tom Brady's got one condition for the upcoming roast of Tom Brady. The rule? No jokes about Gisele Bündchen. Radar Online quotes insiders who say Brady has no intention of performing his own material at the roast. "Tom is fine being the butt of jokes. Say whatever you want about him, but not about his family. It's the one rule that's non-negotiable." A source says the biggest obstacle between them was Gisele's complaints about Tom putting football before family, so he decided to show her he's willing to focus on them before taking that TV job at Fox. His only goal right now is to get his family back. Quick stop at Gossip Corner. There were some rumors about her hanging out with her jiu-jitsu instructor, and a report suggests Gisele has begun dating Tom's billionaire friend Jeffrey Sofer. A source, a lot of sources, this is like a British press story. A source claimed that Gisele and Tom lived near Jeffrey in Florida during their marriage. Sofer's net worth is estimated to be $2 billion, while Tom Brady has a fortune worth a reported $512 million. Leanne Morgan getting a Netflix special on April 11th. What's the title, Johnny Mac? It's called Leanne Morgan, I'm Every Woman. The special will celebrate women in an observational and instructional way. Some of the experience that will be talked about during the program will be Morgan's experience while growing up in Tennessee and being married for over 20 years. She'll also joke about raising 3 children and the fact that she has become a grandmother. Philadelphia Weekly, they have a great comedy section. Asked Brian Posehn if there's anything he wants to do before he retires. He said, "Yeah, for sure. I have a horror movie or two in me that I want to get out there before I'm done. Not that I'll ever fully retire. And yeah, it'll definitely involve my comedic muscle, but more in the dialogue and crafting characters that deal with a brutal or scary situation grounded and with a sense of humor intact." He also talked about meeting Don Rickles. I'd shared that anecdote not too long ago. We got a little more here. He said, "I got to be around Don Rickles a handful of times. He was such a fantastic host and one of the pure, funniest people I've ever been in the room with. So quick, so quintessential Don Rickles. He busted my chops whenever I saw him, which is all I wanted from the situation. I still quote his put-downs. 'Hey, kid, next time I see you, can you at least put on a suit? I'd invite you to the house, but the wife will think you're the gardener. Cute kid, where's his rake?' Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville tweeted out that comedian and Zany's fave Brett Terhune's new special, it's called What on Flat Earth, is now available on Amazon Prime. I haven't seen that yet, but that sounds cool. Taylor Tomlinson, she'll get 2 new specials on Netflix, but she's not going to make the best of 2023 list. Here's why. The first special's not due out until 2024. Tomlinson's psyched. She told Variety, "That's a level of security you don't get very often in this business. It's a huge weight off your shoulders. I feel incredible, grateful, and lucky." The 2024 special will be shot at the end of the current tour, which is currently dubbed the Have It All Tour. Taylor says, "I'm a pretty personal comedian. I'm not super topical or political. I am generally writing about things happening in my own life in what I hope is a very relatable way. And the question I think everybody around my age, which is almost 30, grapples with, and my friends around me are grappling with, is comparing yourself to everybody else." She's kicking around series ideas for Netflix. That's interesting, but she is not looking to sacrifice stand-up. She says, "When it comes down to it, I love touring so much. Every weekend I'm gone, and if you want to make a TV show or a movie, you have to take a significant amount of time off from touring. Touring is the most fun and the most lucrative thing for me to do, and for a lot of stand-ups to do. You don't really ever have to do a show or movie, so all the projects I'm developing or I'm interested in are things that I really love and think could be great because I'm so happy with where I am with stand-up. That's all I ever wanted."
Welcome to How to Tickle Yourself. I'm your host, Duff McDonald.
And I'm your co-host, Matt McButter. We'll be talking to people who specialize in different ways of inhabiting their own consciousness, from artists to yoga teachers to scientists. We've even got a professional magician.
We're going to ask them questions like, what is consciousness? Why does it tickle? And what is magic anyway? Is it just card tricks, or is it the fact that your little speck of consciousness is part of a perfect possibility machine?
Find us wherever you get your podcasts and at storicmedia.com.
I was working out this morning doing the Apple Fitness Plus spin program, and I wanted something to stare at, so I put on Kill Tony on the YouTube. Tim Dillon and Roseanne were the guests, and I love Tim Dillon. I'm like, oh, this is going to be really good. And at one point, Roseanne was so annoying. I'm in the basement by myself. Well, the dog was there, but by myself, and I said out loud, "Holy F, she's terrible." I said that out loud. That's how annoying Roseanne was on this show. If you're not familiar with Kill Tony, you should check out Kill Tony. They pull names out of a hat. If you get picked, you come up and you do a minute of stand-up. It's mostly amateurs, most of them not good. Then Tony does some banter with the guests. Roseanne kept talking to these civilians at length, and by at length, I mean 11, 12 minutes. I had to keep grabbing their remote. I'm like, okay, they're boring, you're boring, can you stop? I was shocked that Tony didn't try and take control of the show. He just let Roseanne go. Meanwhile, Tim Dillon gets it. He would speak once every 10 minutes, assassinate, and then get back out. That's how you do it. Whew. There was one comedian on there. I was in the middle of a workout. Did I mention that? Humble brags. I didn't write down his name, but skim through the show. The comedian who has cerebral palsy, which is central to what his material is, and I don't want to spoil it. Fantastic. Kill Tony is the name of that. Shrine Lover left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much. Shrine Lover wrote, "A daily listen. So great. Thanks for the Dusty Slay 5 o'clock somewhere advice. Wow. Watched 3 times. Keep up the great work." Thanks, Shrine Lover. Yes, Dusty Slay, a hilarious comedian, has a bit about the Jimmy Buffett song, "It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm not going to even dance with the devil." I'll let Dusty tell it. Just go on YouTube, type in Dusty Slay 5 o'clock somewhere, and enjoy the 9-minute bit. It is fantastic. An all-time bit. Really great. Dusty will be coming to the North Charleston Performing Arts Center. They announced a huge festival, Chucktown Comedy Week, a week-long rotation of top comedians. Listen to this lineup. May 17th, Jeff Foxworthy, Leanne Morgan, Dusty Slay. Killer. May 19th, Tim Dillon, Shane Gillis, Big J. Okerson, Nick Mullen. Killer. May 20th and the 21st, Nate Bargatze. Chucktown Comedy Week. ChucktownComedy.com. As we've learned, there are a lot of listeners to this show who are very hip to the comedy scene in Idaho. Idaho, of course, the home of Ryan Hamilton. Now, Ryan is not performing in Idaho at the Treefort Festival, and Treefort has music and comedy. The comedy kicks off tonight with an open mic at 10 o'clock. That's in Boise if you're there. Your headliner this weekend will be on Saturday, Tig Notaro, 2 shows. Meanwhile, in Vancouver, some organizers are trying to host a Vancouver version of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. They want to do this September 15th through the 17th in Stanley Park's Brockton Fields. I have been to Stanley Park, and it is an awesome park. The promoter is Trickstar Live. They already have locations in Halifax in August. That'll feature Jerry Seinfeld and Bill Burr, right? So they're not messing around here. Calgary in late August featuring Jonathan Van Ness and Andrew Schultz. And Edmonton, July 14th through the 16th with lineup TBA. The Parks people put out a statement, said the vision for this festival is to create an inclusive and safe experience that celebrates and features all forms of performance comedy from local talent to star attractions. Past festival headliners have included Bill Burr, Tom Segura, Amy Schumer, Melissa Villasenor, Chris Redd, Donnell Rawlings, Chelsea Handler, and David Spade. The capacity for the proposed Vancouver event would be 10,000. It would run from 5 to 11 p.m., and tickets to the gated event would range from $69 to $399, presumably Canadian dollars. The Vancouver Sun adds, given that most of the performances will be comedic monologues, organizers aren't too worried about excess noise. Stanley Park is fantastic. If this festival happens, and you've never been to Vancouver, you might want to strongly consider that one. Let's keep an eye on that and see who winds up performing there. Are you watching How I Met Your Father on Hulu? Well, you can now watch it on Freeform. Well, not yet. I lied. You got to wait till April 25th. Variety says How I Met Your Father will premiere on Freeform April 25th with the first 2 episodes of season 1. They'll then air 2 episodes every week on Tuesdays, as if it's 1994, until they've run through the whole first season. How I Met Your Father is currently in a 20-episode second season, and 20 episodes in the era of streaming is a lot of episodes. Andy Kaufman, he's going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023. Variety writes, Andy Kaufman made his mark on the world of professional wrestling when he declared himself the intergender wrestling champion of the world, offering money to any woman who could pin him as part of his act. That led to a feud with fellow Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. Despite Lawler and Kaufman being friends, they successfully convinced the audience they were bitter enemies. Kaufman claimed that Lawler broke his neck when Lawler performed a pile driver on him, with Kaufman appearing in a neck brace thereafter. They made an appearance together on Letterman in 1982, during which they traded insults before Lawler slapped Kaufman, knocking Kaufman out of his chair. Now, if you were too young for this, listen to me. This was a major bleeping deal. This was huge. And it was early enough that we didn't quite know for sure that wrestling was fake. And Kaufman was really good at this. And the whole thing on Letterman, I don't know if it was as big as the slap, but it was slap-esque. This was well discussed. This was a big deal. And even Kaufman doing the thing saying he could wrestle any woman, people lost their minds over that. Do a deep dive on YouTube. Just Google like Kaufman wrestling. You'll find all kinds of clips. It was a fantastic piece of work. The 2023 WWE Hall of Ceremony, March 31st, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. I guess none of us will see it. And that's your comedy news for today. Come on, Peacock, spend some ad dollars. I'll shill. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow. Did you hear about the border collie who recycles trash when he's out on his walks? Or how about the bear that stole someone's Chick-fil-A, but good news, left the salad behind? Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of 5 Good News Stories. Don't worry, I have stories about humans too, like there's a woman who makes a living because she looks like Jim Carrey. It's my podcast. It's 5 Good News Stories. 5 Good News Stories, the number 5 Good News Stories, twice a week. 5 Good News Stories. Oh, and Shamrock Shakes are back too. Good news. 5 Good News Stories, wherever you get your shows.